Hi, I'm Charles Brookson. I've been around for an awful long time. ETSI was for the last 20 years for the Security Conference, but I've actually been involved in security for over 50 years, including things like the GSM Association and SMG10 and writing all sorts of standards like cryptographic standards like X509. So I started in ETSI from the very start. And in those days, we actually had a security group that was called ETSI Sec. But sadly, that died away. And there was no security work going on except for lawful interception, the LI group. And so what happened was ETSI created a security group called OCG Sec, which was supposed to coordinate security across ETSI. Well, it was a one-man organization, that was me, and I was supposed to coordinate what was going on. So after a few years, I decided the only thing I could do was to start off a security workshop. And that's how, in fact, it all started. We got together the standards groups from all over the world, including ISO, ITU, CEN and CENELEC. And we put together what we called a standard workshop. And over the 20 years since then, it has evolved. In the first few ones, we actually produced a security white paper which emphasized all the parts of security that ETSI were doing, for example, in TISPAN, UMTS, mobile radio, Tetra, and all the activities, including even things like DECT, which actually had a SIM card. And it's evolved into something which now has over 250 people. It's a really good conference because it actually brings people together from around the world who write standards. It's free, it's in the south of France, and a lot of people actually come along, and it's really good to meet up with your old friends and network in between. And there is actually some security networking which involves bars as well, which is good. And you'll get to hear a whole range of topics, some of which you might not be interested in at first, but you actually then go along and pick up and become interested in those topics. So that's how the workshop started. Since then, of course, OCG Sec actually evolved into TC Cyber. In fact, I tried to set it up as an ISG, and it eventually became a TC. We wrote the requirements, and I was chairman of that for 4 years. I then was vice chairman for 2 years and decided it was time to retire and sit in the back row and just say to people, well, it wasn't like that in my time, which is in fact my primary role these days, which is to go along. And that brings me on to some of the hints and things that I might like to make about standards making. It's really good to make standards. You actually see things that evolve. For example, I was, as I said before, involved in the early part of GSM. And it's really nice to think that everybody's single mobile phone around the world has a little bit of you in it. Sadly, of course, that also means that you have never made any money from it. If it was, I wouldn't be sitting here amidst the palm trees in ETSI, but I'd be much rather on my own private island somewhere, sitting amidst the palm trees as well. But here I am with very little money. Everybody else, of course, has made money from GSM and 3GPP, but those of us who write the standards don't. And it's quite fun as well to see standards that you've written disappear. So, for example, public cryptography and the X509 standard, which came out of X400 1988, was based on RSA. And now, of course, we're trying to withdraw it with post-quantum cryptography. And because RSA, of course, is one of the things that are affected by that. So you actually get the benefit of seeing standards that you've made become out of date and then get attacked. And of course, that's the whole history of seeing things through the eyes of somebody who's been involved in it over 50 years. Many of the things that you see actually happening are things that you would never even guess. So, for example, you can predict things, but then something comes up and surprises you. And indeed, many of the things that you try and protect against are actually security weaknesses that somebody has found, which you could never have been predicted. And that's one of the things that has surprised me throughout the length of my career. What's also interesting is how the same things go over and over again. I won't touch that subject because I've had endless meetings on mobile phone security, starting from Heathrow Airport in 1994 and going forwards. I was asked to actually try and find out and think about some amusing episodes, where the only amusing episode I can actually put my hand on is being British. I've actually insisted that we have tea breaks in the afternoon and not this disgusting coffee breaks that everybody insists. But sadly, I've lost out of that over the years until I go and talk to those in charge. And occasionally they do humor me by having tea breaks in the afternoon, which is good. Because ETSI is one of the few places that has kettles, so you can make proper tea and not put it through a machine that generates not enough hot water. But enough about that. Let's look forward to the future. It's an interesting subject. What happens for the future? I would like to see us concentrate much more on resilience of our architectures. There is a lot more that can be done pre-planning. Most people put engineering and security engineering in after the event, and they do not allow things to vary. Or allow protocols for things to vary. So looking at the whole life cycle is particularly important. And sadly, that's still not done. So people do not allow space to change algorithms, and that has caused us issues even these days. And there are many other things that we can be doing. There are other things that will come along, of course. AI is a very large topic at the moment. I've seen topics come and go, but of course, AI has the potential to attack systems in ways that we don't even know, and we have to start thinking about that. And of course, ETSI is running lots of initiatives on secure AI and so on. I'd like to think that at the age of over 70, that I will carry on thinking about these things and contributing. And the best thing you can do is to come along to the Security Conference, have a look at what's going around. If you're interested, it's quite cheap to join up with ETSI. Of course, you have to find somebody to sponsor you, like a company, if you're SME like me. But there's plenty of ability for you to create things and actually see things come into fruition. So I look forward to seeing you at the ETSI conference, if I last that long. Thank you.